what's up, bitches? Back for another fantastic video. Here today, simulations update, guys. We have the playing games and the round of 64 finally complete, and let's get right to it. Just fill you guys in. In the playing games, we had number 16, Arkansas Little Rock square off against number 16, North Carolina Central. Arkansas Little Rock took it 69-59. In the other 16 game matchup, we have 16 Siena squaring off against 16 Prairie View A&M, as Prairie View A&M took that one 78-69. All right, number 12 versus number 12, Texas Tech versus Richmond, in a surprising, somewhat of an upset. Richmond wins it 90-78 over the defending runner-ups. And finally, the last playing game, an 11 versus 11 matchup. It's Indiana versus Texas, and in the final seconds, Indiana wins it 74-73. Now, into the round of 64, let's look at Thursday's games, guys. It all kicked off Thursday at noon with number 4 Wisconsin squaring off against number 13 New Mexico State, guys. And boy, we started off one with a crazy upset right out of the gates. New Mexico State winning it 76-67 over technically the winners of the Big Ten, the Wisconsin Badgers. Moving on, we had number 6 BYU square off against number 11 UCLA in a close battle, and it went down to the wire into the final seconds where BYU finally pulls away 86-82. They're on their way to the next round. In the next game, we had number 2 Florida State square off against number 15 Eastern Washington in shockingly a very close game. They actually had to win it in the very final seconds as well, 86-85. Hell of a ball game. In the last game of that first quadrant of games, we had number 5 Virginia square off against number 12 Liberty in another upset fashion, guys. The two teams in the championship game are gone after round 1. It is Liberty 59, Virginia 55. Now into the next quadrant, we had number 7 Penn State square off against number 10 Eastern Tennessee State. And guys, we're just going to keep the upsets coming at you. Eastern Tennessee State with a 74-64 victory over Penn State. We then had number 3 Seton Hall squaring off against number 14 Hofstra. Seton Hall pulls away in the end in 81-68 victory over them. Then we had number 7 Illinois squaring off against number 10 USC. USC with the upset here with Onyeka Okongwu having an amazing game. They win it 87-78. And finally, in the last one of that quadrant games, we have number 8 Arizona squaring off against number 9 Florida. Another game to the very, very end. Florida pulls off the win here 79-76. In the next quadrant of games, we had number 2 Duke squaring off against number 15 North Dakota State in 83-69 victory for the Blue Devils. We then had number 3 Villanova squaring off against number 14 Boston University in 81-65 victory there for Nova. Then number 2 Creighton versus number 15 Northern Kentucky in 83-76 victory for the Blue Jays. And then finally number 1 Gonzaga squaring off against number 16 Robert Morris in 87-62 victory there for the Zags, pulling away easily, no upsets in that quadrant. And then the final quadrant here of Thursday's games, we had number 5 Auburn squaring against number 12 SF Austin. This game came right down to the wire until the winning shot was made with just a second remaining. SF Austin defeats, upsets number 5 Auburn 80-78. Then, with another upset at hand, number 6 Iowa versus number 11 NC State, 87-81. NC State upsets Luka Garza and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Number 7 Utah squaring off against number 10 Utah State in what was a high-scoring affair. Really came down to the wire, but in the end, number 7 Houston pulls it away 90-84 over Utah State. And then finally, the last game of the Thursday games for the round of 64, number 4 Oregon versus number 13 Akron. It was a close battle, but in the end, Peyton Pritchard pulls away with his squad 81-78. Those were Thursday's games, folks. And now on to Friday's games. Leading off the day at noon Eastern Time, we had number 4 Maryland squaring off against number 13 Yale. It was a close game for the most part. Then Maryland was able to pull away with a couple buckets in the end, 81-73. Number 1 Dayton defeats number 16 Prairie View A&M, 82-70. Number 8 St. Mary's squaring off against number 9 Colorado and won this one actually pretty decisively, 74-62. And number 4 Louisville defeats number 13 Belmont, 83-69. On to the next. Now, that was not a lot of upsets, but next to the next quadrant, we had number 6 Michigan square off against number 11 Cincinnati, guys, and a shocker. Number 11 Cincinnati wins it 77-69 over Michigan. Number 3 Michigan State squares off against number 14 Northern Texas, won that one 92-85, a little closer than we all expected. And the shocker of the entire first round, guys, number 1 Baylor squares off against number 16 Arkansas Little Rock in upset, the second 16 seed to ever get the victory. Arkansas Little Rock, wins it 77-75 in the final seconds with free throws. And then Ohio State squaring off against Richmond. A hell of a game down to the final wire, actually. A buzzer beater shot by Richmond defeats Ohio State 70-69. Into the next quadrant, we have number 5, Butler squaring off against number 12, Vermont. And guys, it's just upset crazy these last few games. Vermont with a 70-68 victory over Butler, a hell of a ball game. Then number 6, West Virginia down to number 11, Indiana, 82-73. What a game. Then number 7, Providence squares off against number 10, Arizona State, and actually wins it pretty convincingly as Providence, 69-53. And then the last game of that quadrant, we have number 1, Kansas squaring off against number 16, Winthrop, as they win it 86-74. And now the final 4 games of the round of 64. Number 3, Kentucky squares off against number 14, Bradley. They defeat them 86-69. Number 8, Rutgers defeats number 9, Marquette 90-81. Number 8, LSU scores off against number 9, Oklahoma. And what you would think would be a nice close game was not, as LSU wins it 83-60. And then finally, the final game of it all, number 2, San Diego State squares off against number 15, UC Irvine, as San Diego State wins it 89-79. And guys, we had some good games here for sure. Had quite a few upsets actually going through the first round. We had New Mexico State win, Liberty win, East Tennessee State win, USC win. Florida technically won, but I'm not going to count that as a huge upset by any means. We had SF Austin and NC State win. Then we also had Cincinnati with the upset. We had, of course, the huge upset of Arkansas Little Rock, and then also Richmond. Then we had Vermont and then Indiana as well. So we actually had some good seeds there. So that gives us there, going into the second round, we have a 13, a 12, a 10, a 10, a 9, a 12, 11, a 11 again, a 16, a 12, and 11. We actually had quite a few upsets, guys, and it's going to be fun going to the next round to see if they can go even further with these simulations. We're down to our 32 teams, guys, and let's see who can make it to the final Sweet 16. And we'll see you in our next update, guys. Keep rooting for your squad if they're still in it. We'll see you next time.